How's it going, guys? My name is Jimmy Champane, and last week we took a look at Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. See, I got the name right this time. It's all good. Anyways, that movie came out a full 7 years after Halloween 2 and 6 years after Halloween 3. But it turned an $11 million profit, so naturally Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers came out just 1 year later, and it threw every single good idea introduced in Halloween 4 right out the window. It turns out that the people behind this movie didn't find Michael's execution in Halloween 4 conclusive enough. So of course, after pumping Michael full of bullets, they show the redneck warriors dropping dynamite down the mine, but Michael manages to escape just in time. After killing her adoptive mother, Jamie was placed in a children's hospital for kids suffering from mental disabilities and other trauma. In addition to her PTSD, she also loses the ability to speak. Early on, we're reintroduced to Rachel and her best friend Tina, who is one of the most contentious characters of this entire movie. Oh yeah, Rachel also got a new dog. I bet he'll make it to the end. In my review of Halloween 4, I said that the choice to transfer the curse from Michael to Jamie was bizarre because the whole reason we got that movie was because people couldn't accept a movie where Michael wasn't the villain. Malik Akkad and other people involved with the movie have said that it was never the plan to have Jamie take over for Michael and that they never had a path to follow going into 5, and I totally believe them. In Halloween 5, the psychic link between Jamie and Michael is stronger than ever. The way I've always seen it is that Jamie is destined to become a soulless killing machine like Michael, but only after he's finally dead, and that the strength of the curse's power over Jamie increases based on Michael's physical state at any given time. At the end of Halloween 4, Michael is shot about 100 times, falls down a mine shaft, and I guess he's now blown up by dynamite and crawls into the river. In my mind, he's as close to dying as it gets for him, and when he hits that point, the curse's power increases on Jamie's end, and she ends up killing her mom. Then, after Michael is rescued by the old man and falls into a coma, his health stabilizes and the curse's power over Jamie weakens. I think this explanation also covers Jamie's loss of the ability to speak, because even though Michael is stabilized, he's still physically weakened, so the curse isn't as balanced as it was in Halloween 4. Once Michael wakes up and goes back to being the unstoppable force we know and love, that balance returns and Jamie is able to speak again. The first thing Michael does after waking up is go to Rachel's new house, which he just knows how to get to, I guess, so he can figure out where Jamie is. He kills Rachel with a pair of scissors, and that's when I realized nobody involved with this movie had any clue what they were doing with it. They didn't even have to kill her off. She tells Jamie at the very beginning that she's going to be gone for 2 days visiting her dad.
I'll be back in 2 days, okay? Mom and Dad send their love.
Wait, what was that?
Mom and Dad send their love.
Okay, I guess her mom is still alive now. The group of teenagers this movie introduces as Rachel's new group of friends are the dumbest manifestations of character cliches and stupidity the writers could have ever come up with. They really wrote themselves into a corner with these idiots because if they left Rachel alive, the audience would have definitely questioned how the smart, resourceful character introduced in Halloween 4 even ended up hanging out with these losers. So instead of creating better characters, they took the easy way out and killed her off 20 minutes in. The second act in Halloween 5 is mainly focused on Tina and her friends getting ready to go to a Halloween party while Dr. Loomis simultaneously goes on the hunt for Michael and does his best to protect Jamie while also trying to knock some sense into Tina's thick skull. Donald Pleasence once again puts everything he has into playing Dr. Loomis, and honestly the dynamic between him, Jamie, and Michael is the only thing that continually holds my interest in this movie. Speaking of Michael and giving credit where it's due, both the mask and the way he's built are improved this time around. The mask doesn't look great, but it looks good enough, and he managed to regrow his neck while he was in a year-long coma, so that checks out. The problem with Halloween 5's second act is that Michael has kind of turned into a meandering joke at this point. Obviously, his main goal is to kill Jamie, as always, but he suddenly tries his hand at being tactical rather than heading down his usual route of all-out brutality. He goes after Tina's boyfriend Michael. Yeah, I know, they couldn't have picked a better name, right? And I'm not gonna lie, this scene is pretty damn awesome. Watching that little rake scratch the shit out of this asshole's Camaro will never not feel good, and then it gets lodged right where it belongs in his dumb face. After that, he gets a different mask, takes a car, and goes to pick up Tina for the Halloween party. I just want to point out how good of a friend Tina is at this point. She's at Rachel's house getting ready, and she still has not even questioned the fact that Rachel just disappeared. I get that she went on vacation, but nobody finds it weird that she just went away. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, Jamie's telepathic link to Michael kicks in at just the right time, and the police are able to rescue Tina before Michael has a chance to take her to the party. Dr. Loomis does his best to explain to Tina that she's an idiot, but she decides to go to the party anyway.
Jamie's a 9-year-old girl.
Be sensible.
I'm never sensible if I can help it.
I I guess at this point you could argue that nobody is really sure whether or not Michael is actually back, so the cops refuse to stop Tina from leaving. Loomis gets them to meet him in the middle and follow her to the party to protect her, but how hasn't he built up enough goodwill with this town to the point where if he says Michael is coming back, you can probably put some stock in it? Jamie breaks out of the Halloween costume contest party at the hospital to try and rescue Tina, and her friend Billy comes along because he knows where Tina's going. I always liked Billy. The actor did a good job and he's a pretty cute little kid. I love this shot of Michael driving up to the party. I don't know why, it's just really funny to me. Once they're at the party, Tina and her friends decide to play a prank on the gun-carrying police officers who have guns that are assigned to protect her from Michael with guns by doing this.
Take me, but spare my friend! She's a virgin.
Got her phone number? You think that's funny?
They should have just shot him. Next, we get another dumb fake out, but then the real Michael Myers comes out of nowhere and gives these stupid fucks what's coming to them. I really like this following scene when Tina realizes the mistake she's made and her world comes crashing down all around her. Michael is back. He killed her friends. As far as she knows, he may have killed her boyfriend and he's coming to get her next. And right at that moment, we see the headlights on Michael's new ride light up and he chases her towards the tree line just as Jamie and Billy show up. Visually, this scene is awesome. The headlights lighting up the fog in the woods, the fact that they actually let someone chase a 12-year-old girl with a car, Michael emerging from that car and killing Tina. As bad of a character as Tina is, I think it's definitely more to do with the writing over Wendy Kaplan's acting. It's kind of confusing, but I think she does a good job acting out her character's bad writing. Danielle Harris also does an incredible job selling the fact that she genuinely cares for Tina, and you can feel how tragic it is for her to watch Tina's mistakes catch up to her and she can't do anything about it. I feel like this review is jumping all over the place, but that's exactly what this movie does. It jumps all over the place for no reason because they shot it before the script was even done. You know what other movie did that? Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Halloween 5's third act takes place at the old Myers house. What? That's not the Myers house? I couldn't tell. The actual house interior set is phenomenal. I love how decrepit it is, and if you're into the Thorn Cult plotline, you could spend all day trying to find all the different places the symbol shows up. Dr. Loomis has officially lost it at this point. He's pulling his gun on cops, he's just fucking done with Michael's bullshit, and I'm totally here for it. I think this scene where he talks to Michael is the best and possibly one of the only redeeming moments of the entire film. I think it's important to appreciate how cool it was of Donald Pleasence to keep coming back and stick with this franchise until the day he died. I honestly believe that without the relationship between him and Michael, these movies would have never made it past Halloween 4. The sequence where Michael chases Jamie through his old house also deserves some credit. When she's stuck in the laundry chute and he's stabbing his knife through it over and over, I genuinely had to cover my eyes when I was a kid. Like I mentioned in last week's review, I used to watch Halloween 4 and 5 back to back every year on AMC Fear Fest, and when I discovered these movies, I was around the same age as Jamie, so they were extra terrifying. I still get choked up when Jamie finds Rachel's body and realizes she's dead. Of course, they're just resting on the plot development of Halloween 4, which is kind of disingenuous, but it still hurts every single time. Everyone Jamie loves is dead at this point, and right after she escapes Michael, Dr. Loomis betrays her and uses her as bait to get Michael to follow him into another room, where he finally manages to stop Michael by dropping a big chain net on him, shooting him with a bunch of tranquilizer darts, and beating him into unconsciousness with a wood board. Michael is taken to the local jail, and it's explained that he'll be transferred to a maximum security prison, but of course that ain't gonna happen. This guy, who's dressed in all black, shows up a few times throughout Halloween 5. He of course was not in the original script, but halfway through filming he was added in to magically fix all the issues this movie was facing during production, and essentially to connect Halloween 5 to the inevitable sequel. He shows up at the very last second, decimates the Haddonfield police force for the second year in a row, and breaks Michael out. It's a terrible ending that feels as poorly thought out as it truly was, and that's the end of Halloween 5. But now I want to hear from you, so be sure you let me know what you think of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, down in the comments below. And as far as Halloween 6 goes, you guys have been asking me if I'm going to review the producer's cut or the theatrical version. I've decided that when I get back from my vacation, I'm going to do one big video on both versions. These videos are a ton of work, and the fact that you guys turn up every single time with tons of views, leaving me overwhelmingly thumbs ups over thumbs downs, and tell me really nice things down in the comments makes it all completely worth it. This isn't my day job. This is what I do when I get home from my day job, so the fact that you guys are so awesome about it really does make it all worth it for me. If you want to hear me talk about other horror movies besides Halloween, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram, and I also have a podcast called Fear Frequency, which I link down in the description. That's all the time I have for today though, guys, so as always, my name is Jimmy Champane, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.